Imagine your brain as a high school theater kid who never got over that one time they tripped during a monologue. That's your amygdala. This almond-shaped emotional goblin doesn't care that 6th grade was, like, 5 versions of you ago. It just remembers embarrassment, hondash, danger. And oh boy, it loves reruns. See, the amygdala's job is to help you survive. Back when you lived in caves and had to dodge saber-toothed tigers, remembering that bad thing that happened was kind of useful. Like, hey, don't pick berries from that bush. Gary ate one and exploded. Embarrassment works the same way, except instead of deadly berries, it's your voice cracked during a presentation and 3 kids laughed. Your brain logged that as never speak again. Public speaking, bosh, death. What makes it worse? Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that handles logic and reasoning, is like a tired parent that showed up way too late. It doesn't finish developing until your mid-20s, which means your childhood brain just dumped memories into your internal trauma scrapbook without much quality control. And because embarrassment triggers a strong emotional response, your brain flags it as important. Meanwhile, you've probably forgotten entire textbooks and your mom's birthday once. But that time you accidentally called your teacher mom? Oh yeah, that's getting stored in 4K Ultra HD with surround sound. Basically, your brain is the worst kind of hoarder. It throws away practical info but keeps a collection of cringe moments season 1. Ever felt like everyone was staring at you after that one tiny mistake? Like you tripped slightly, and suddenly you're the opening act at a shame concert? Welcome to the spotlight effect, where your brain convinces you that everyone notices everything you do. Spoiler alert, they don't. This little psychological gem is your ego having a meltdown. Your brain thinks you're the main character of reality, which, on one hand, slay. On the other hand, it means you overestimate how much other people are watching you, judging you, and thinking about your weird outfit from 7th grade Spirit Week. But here's the twist. Everyone else is also trapped in their own little spotlight bubble, worrying about how they look. So you're both starring in solo performances of, oh no, I look weird, without realizing no one bought tickets to anyone else's show. And yet, your brain burns that memory in anyway. Like, this is humiliating. Never wear stripes again. Even though no one actually noticed your fashion crime, or cared, or remembered. Because they're too busy cringing at their 6th grade attempt at breakdancing during a talent show. Your brain thinks it's saving you from social annihilation. Really, it's just directing a 12-season sitcom about your awkward moments, and you're the only one watching. Here's the thing, your brain doesn't remember things based on importance. It remembers things based on emotional glue. And embarrassment is basically super glue mixed with glitter and regret. Normal memories, like what you ate for lunch last Tuesday, just float by, unbothered. But if something makes you feel strongly, whether it's fear, shame, or the emotional horror of calling your crush dude instead of babe, your amygdala and hippocampus team up like, yep, that's going in the forever folder. Emotion activates neurotransmitters like norepinephrine and dopamine, which basically yell, save this memory, it's spicy. And the spicier the emotion, the more likely you'll remember every second, from the awkward eye contact to the sweat patches forming a map of regret on your shirt. That's why you can't remember who won the 2008 Olympics. But you can remember exactly how it felt when you spilled chocolate milk on your pants in front of your entire class. In slow motion, while your crush walked by. This isn't a bug in the system, it's a survival feature. Your brain evolved to remember emotional stuff so you'd avoid danger. The problem? It can't tell the difference between life-threatening situations and social embarrassment caused by pizza sauce on your face. So yes, you are being haunted by your middle school self. Because emotions are clingy, and your brain is a terrible bouncer. Quick fun fact, your memory isn't a filing cabinet. It's more like a sketchy courtroom sketch artist who's also a pathological exaggerator. Every time you remember an embarrassing moment, you're not watching the actual event. You're reconstructing it, like a crime scene drama produced by your insecurities. Your brain fills in gaps with what probably happened, what might have happened, and what you feared happened. So that time you tripped on stage and thought everyone laughed, maybe only 2 people snorted, and they were laughing at something else. But your memory went, let's add dramatic music, a spotlight, and echoing laughter so this feels extra painful. And guess what happens each time you revisit the memory? It gets distorted even more. You're basically playing a game of psychological telephone with yourself, except instead of turning cat into banana, you're turning minor stumble into I invented public failure. That's why embarrassing memories feel worse over time, not better. They're like haunted houses that keep getting redecorated every time you enter. Only now the ghosts are louder and wearing your old gym uniform. In short, don't trust your memory. It's petty, dramatic, and obsessed with making you cringe. Picture this. You're a cave teenager, trying to impress your fellow hunter-gatherer crush, when you trip over a rock and faceplant into a mammoth turd. Now you're the mammoth poop guy forever, and nobody wants to share berries with you anymore. That fear of social rejection, it didn't come from nowhere. In the good old prehistoric days, being excluded from the group often meant death, like literal starvation and saber-toothed tiger brunch death. So your brain evolved to treat social embarrassment as a threat to survival. Even though now your tribe is just your algebra class and your biggest danger is tripping in Crocs, your brain still reacts like, this is life or death. Thanks, evolution. This is also why embarrassment feels so intense physically. Your heart races, your face burns. You want to teleport into a garbage can. That's your nervous system launching into fight or flight mode. Except there's no bear, just a failed attempt at pronouncing photosynthesis during a group project. And then your brain, helpful little trauma archivist that it is, saves that memory forever. Because in its ancient logic, remembering it each ends not dying next time. So if you've ever thought, why can't I just forget that time I choked on a Capri Sun in front of the cool kids? The answer is, because your brain thought it was protecting you from exile and death by tiger. Evolution really did us dirty. You know that thing your brain does at 2:47 a.m., where it replays the exact wording of something awkward you said in 2009? That's rumination. Baby? And it's like mental chewing gum you can't spit out. Unlike problem solving, which is healthy and productive. Rumination is your brain looping a cringe moment over and over like it's trying to win an imaginary Oscar for most regrettable social performance. It's not helpful. It's not getting better. It's just spinning. Psychologists say rumination is common in people with anxiety or perfectionist tendencies. Translation: if you care a lot about being liked or doing things right, hi, yes, all of us, you're probably on the hamster wheel more than you'd like to admit. What makes it even more annoying is that your brain thinks it's helping. It thinks. If we analyze this moment for the 27th time, maybe we can prevent future embarrassment. But all it does is turn one bad moment into a recurring internal horror show. Also, fun fact, rumination literally strengthens the neural pathway for that memory. So the more you think about it, the easier it becomes to access. Your brain's like, oh, you want to relive the time you waved at someone who wasn't waving at you? Say less. The best analogy? Rumination is like trying to put out a fire by lighting more matches. It's just more flames. And more late-night facepalms. Let's get deep for a second. Ever notice how embarrassing memories from middle school sting more than the time you sent a weird email at work? That's because adolescence is peak identity soup. During those years, your brain is basically a half-finished IKEA shelf. Everything's unstable. The instruction manual is in Swedish. And someone stole the little Allen wrench. You're trying to figure out who you are while also navigating braces, hormones, and gym class. So when something embarrassing happens during that time, like your voice cracking while saying "here" during roll call, it doesn't just feel awkward. It feels existential. Because in that moment, your developing sense of self took a hit. It wasn't just, "Oops, that was weird." It was, "Am I a weird person now? Is this who I am forever?" And since your teenage brain had zero chill, it logged the memory as life-defining. Even now, adult, you might logically know that no one cares about the fact you sweat through your hoodie during a school dance. But your inner teen, still screaming? Embarrassment in adolescence is like a bad tattoo on your personality. Poorly placed, deeply regrettable, and almost impossible to laser off without some emotional scarring. But hey, at least it wasn't recorded on TikTok. Right? If your memories were songs, embarrassing ones would be those terrible tunes your brain insists on replaying, even though you never asked for them. It's like your internal DJ took one awkward social interaction and went, "Yup, putting this on repeat, forever." This is thanks to something called salience bias, where your brain gives more attention and weight to emotionally charged or socially significant moments. And what's more emotionally charged than getting your pants caught in your bike chain and flashing your cartoon boxers to the entire neighborhood? Neutral or boring moments, like successfully walking across a room without tripping, don't get the spotlight. They're not dramatic enough. But that one time you called your teacher dad? That's a hit single, Baby, platinum certified Cringe. And each time you revisit that memory, your brain reinforces it like, "Wow, look at us learning, look at us remembering." Meanwhile, you're just trying to focus on literally anything else. This is also why you don't randomly remember compliments from 5 years ago. Your brain doesn't think those are useful for survival. But social humiliation? Oh yeah, that's vital data. Clearly. Because what if you accidentally wave at a mannequin again? Basically, your brain runs a personalized Cringe Greatest Hits album, and the skip button is broken. Here's the frustrating part. You don't choose what your brain remembers, but it sure acts like you did. Your mind's memory system is like a shady bouncer who lets in the worst party guests and leaves your best moments shivering outside in the rain. That time you helped someone out or nailed a project? Barely a flicker. That one awkward handshake that turned into a weird finger tangle? Engraved on your neurons like a cursed spell. Why? Because your brain over-prioritizes negative experiences as a survival tactic. It's like a smoke alarm that goes off for burnt toast and actual fires, just in case. Better to overreact and survive than miss something that could be dangerous. So now you're stuck with memories that aren't accurate, aren't important, and aren't leaving anytime soon. It's like having an emotional hoarder in your head who refuses to throw out that one humiliating lunchroom story. And the kicker? You can't even trade them in for useful information, like your Wi-Fi password or where you put your house keys. So if it feels like your memory is out to make you cringe every time you try to fall asleep, it kind of is. But not because it hates you. It's just really, really bad at emotional triage. Look, if you remember something dumb from 6th grade and your stomach still tightens like you just got caught stealing glitter glue, it doesn't mean you're broken. It just means you're human. Self-consciousness is part of the price of admission to this whole being alive and aware of it thing. We evolved brains big enough to think abstractly. Imagine other people's thoughts. And, unfortunately, replay middle school trauma like it's a season finale. We remember embarrassing things not because they matter, but because they felt like they mattered. And our brains are wired to protect us, even if they do it in the most unhelpful, emotionally unstable way possible. But guess what? Literally everyone else is also haunted by their own personal blooper reel. You're not alone in this. We're all cringing together, quietly, at 2 a.m. So maybe, just maybe, the real takeaway isn't to forget the embarrassment, but to laugh at it, own it, and remember that 6th grade you was doing their best. Bad haircuts, Capri Suns, awkward presentations and all.